So this is the second part of the wig styling video for synthetic wigs. Just remember, it's a slightly different process for human hair because you can use heat. So I've really roughly just chucked a load of barrel curls through this, and I now need to steam it. So this is just a bog standard like clothes steamer. It's got a water tank at the bottom. You press the trigger and steam comes out. Now on a professional scale, if you're doing this all the time, you will have really big steamers. You will have, as I've said, like wig ovens. But for this, this little handheld steamer will work absolutely fine. So what you need to do is spend a lot of time thoroughly pushing that steam into the hair all over. I'm going to speed it up in a second, but one thing you can do is if you put a plastic bag over the wig and then you push the steam into the space around the wig, not directly onto the hair because you don't want to burn it, the bag will encapsulate the steam and it will help it settle into the fibres. When that steam evaporates and dries off and the wig goes completely dry, the heat will have been gentle enough to curl or style the hair, but without damaging it or melting it. So it does take a lot of time, and the longer you can spend steaming it, the better, and the longer you can leave it after you finish steaming, the better. The whole point of the steam is that it will give you a very quick burst of heat without it being direct contact with the synthetic hair, and it will gently kind of add some body and some curl to it. So once you've steamed all over, I definitely recommend putting it into a bag and steaming inside of that. Leave it for as long as you can and leave it next to cool air. If you can leave it next to a window or something, that would be great. And when you do, you will have delicate curls. So when you pull your curls out, you'll find that they will mat up very quickly if you don't care for them. So it's worth having a wide tooth comb or brush that you can gently tease the hair through without completely matting it up. If you've got any type of hair serum or oil, a tiny little bit will work just to add kind of sheen to it without it getting too matted. But what you want to do is make sure you're brushing out gently through the length of the hair. Scrunch and wind the curls at the bottom so you keep that kind of springy texture, and work your way from the bottom all the way up to the top. So what you can see here is what we talked about in the previous video. When you're setting the hair, you've got to be careful that you don't completely follow the lines underneath, because you will get those little gaps. So when you brush the wig out, make sure you're brushing through all the sections at the root so that you don't have obvious kind of lines between where the hair was sectioned. So this is it roughly dressed out, and I'm now going to style it, and it gives me a nice grippy texture to allow me to back comb and to pin into it and style it up. So this is it very roughly, quickly put into a style. I just want to talk to you about the pins that you've got in your kits, or different pins that you can buy. Make sure you're using the right ones. So obviously you've got bobby pins, which these are going to be what give you the grip and what give you the strength to pin up large sections of hair. And they work best when you push them in to the hair, like I just showed you. Push it in, turn them around on themselves and push them down. It digs the pin into the hair so you don't see the length of it, and it gives you a stronger hold. These tiny fine pins are purely for kind of decorative purposes. So these are great to, if you've got tiny little tendrils of hair or little bits that you just want to pin up and hook in, they work well for that. They're good for just pinning in little bits of ornamentation. So you've got little flowers or beads, I don't know, whatever. They're not going to be strong enough to actually grip the hair to support it in any way. And the same is said for this. I see people using these all the time, trying to hold the hair up. They won't. There's no grip to them. There's no texture to them. They are there just to help you with styling. So for example, I've created like a kind of swirly wave with the fringe section of this wig, and I use those pins to hold it there whilst I sprayed it and let it set. You're not going to get really strong grippage, if you will, with those pins. So last little thing is just make sure you're checking the perimeter of your wig. So when you put them in front of a backdrop or under a light, you're going to see all the little fine little stray hairs standing out. So if you spray the back of a comb as opposed to the teeth of the comb with some hairspray, it allows you to run over the wig and push those little kind of wispy flyaways down without disturbing the actual hair, which you would if you used the teeth of the wig. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll see you soon.